Chosen ones, listen carefully, for I do not speak these words by accident, and you are not hearing them by chance. The moment is here, and the hour has already begun. The eclipse has passed across the heavens, yet its echo is not fading. Instead, it is deepening, spreading like a silent vibration that shakes the unseen corners of your life. And on the 25th of September, the post-eclipse current will strike in full force, not to comfort you, but to break what has long bound you. The chains that have wrapped around your soul, around your destiny, around your unseen future, are about to be shattered. And while most of the world moves distracted through their days, unaware of the invisible locks snapping open, you are being called to witness, to feel, to endure and to rise, because this moment was carved for the chosen, not for the ordinary. And you will know it, not with your eyes, but with the heaviness in your chest, with the silence that demands your attention, with the undeniable pull towards solitude that you cannot explain away. This is the aftershock of the eclipse. This is the energy that doesn't politely knock but kicks the door open, and as you step into it, you may not realize immediately what is happening. You may think you are just tired, restless, distant, but in truth, you are standing in the first vibrations of liberation, the loosening of shackles you thought were part of you, but were never yours to keep. You see, chains are deceptive. They do not always look like metal. They look like comfort zones that turned into cages. They look like relationships that once gave warmth but now drain your spirit. They look like dreams that once excited you, but now feel dead in your hands. And the post-eclipse energy on September 25th will not politely ask you if you're ready to let them go. It will break them. And when something breaks, you hear the sound in your heart before you see the pieces fall, and many of you are already hearing that sound. In sudden waves of exhaustion that arrive without warning, in conversations that feel heavy and pointless, in the way scrolling your phone suddenly feels unbearable, in the way laughter with certain people rings hollow. This is not depression. This is not weakness. This is the universe beginning to pull apart the knots that tied you to an outdated version of yourself. And it feels strange because breaking does not come with clarity. Breaking comes with confusion, with silence, with that haunting question of why don't I feel like myself anymore? Yet that is exactly the proof that you are already inside the shift. And understand this, the post-eclipse phase is not calmer than the eclipse itself. It is sharper, more deliberate, because the eclipse was the cosmic scalpel cutting open the wound. Now the 25th is the moment the surgeon removes what does not belong inside, and yes, it can feel invasive. It can feel like loss. It can feel like someone stole something from you, but chosen ones know better. You know that what disappears after the eclipse was never truly yours. It was a borrowed cloak, a false bond, an illusion of safety that cannot survive in the season you are walking toward. So while others cling to what fades and panic at its disappearance, you must remember that freedom rarely feels gentle. It feels like emptiness at first, like standing in a room you used to know. But suddenly everything on the shelves is gone. The walls are bare, the air is different, and you don't recognize where you are. But chosen ones understand that this emptiness is not a curse. It is preparation. It is space being carved so that the new can find you without obstruction. Already you can feel it in your body, your breath becoming heavier at night, your sleep filled with dreams that speak louder than conversations in the day. Some of you waking with a pressure in your chest, a need to cry without knowing why, and this too is the breaking of chains. Because chains are not only outside of you, they live in your emotions, in your patterns, in your nervous system. And when they begin to break, the body trembles with release. The mind feels foggy, the heart feels raw. Yet this rawness is the doorway, and the eclipse did not end when the sky returned to light. It seeded this process. It left behind an invisible, field now building to its climax on the 25th, and you are walking inside it whether you believe it or not. Most people will not recognize it. They will blame the weather, the season, their mood, but you know better because chosen ones are not blind to energy. You can feel when the atmosphere is charged, when silence becomes sacred, when noise feels unbearable, and that is exactly where you are now. You are standing in the gap between two realities, the one that is already breaking and the one that is not yet fully formed. And the only way to walk this path is not with panic, but with surrender. Not with forcing answers, but with listening. For in the stillness you are not abandoned, you are accompanied. The messages you have been waiting for are written in this silence. The clarity you begged for is carried inside this stillness. And though it feels heavy, though it feels like loss, it is the sound of locks snapping, the sound of doors you never thought could open beginning to creak. And the 25th is the hinge, the turning point, the day when these subtle whispers will solidify into undeniable shifts. Chosen ones, I tell you this not to make you afraid, but to make you alert. For fear is what keeps ordinary people chained, but awareness is what breaks the chain. And if you recognize what is happening to you now, you will not resist. You will not panic, you will allow. And in that allowing, the energy will move faster, cleaner, more powerfully on your behalf, because chains that are resisted cut deeper, but chains that are surrendered to snap clean, and what is coming is nothing less than a jailbreak of the soul, and you are already feeling the first rattle of the bars. But hear me now, for the sound of chains is not the sound of punishment, it is the sound of release. The universe is not coming to strip you cruelly or leave you in ruins. The universe is repaying you, because every shadow that crossed your life, every season you endured in silence, every sacrifice you made that no one honored has been etched into this moment. And the post-eclipse energy is not here to take what is yours, it is here to take what never was. The attachments that drained you, the patterns that kept you small, the beliefs that told you you were less than chosen. And as these chains break, you may feel as though pieces of yourself are being stolen. But in truth, the pieces that vanish are the false layers, the disguises, the masks you were forced to wear when the world could not see who you truly were. And when they fall away, it will sting. Yes, but it will sting like light on eyes that have adjusted too long to the dark. For this is not destruction, but unveiling. It is the repayment of every hidden effort, the silent battles fought when no one clapped for you, the nights you kept going when quitting would have been easier, the times you carried weight no one else saw. All of this is written into the breaking, and when the chains snap, you will finally understand that nothing has been wasted, nothing was overlooked. The cosmos never forgot you. But this truth is not given to everyone, no. Because the ordinary walk blind beneath the same sky and see only coincidence. They call it mood swings, bad luck, random stress. They cling to fear when the shadow passes. But you are not ordinary. Chosen ones never mistake the trembling of the spirit for accident. You feel the cosmic gaze upon you. You know when the silence of the heavens is filled with meaning, and this week is one such silence. A silence louder than thunder, a silence that inspects and decides. Understand this, the energy of September 25th does not treat all equally. It divides, it separates the ordinary from the chosen, the fearful from the faithful, those who panic at the darkness from those who can stand still inside it and interpret. And that difference determines who walks through with chains shattered and who walks deeper into bondage. The chains are invisible, but the signs of their breaking are not. And I will tell you now what they look like so that you may not be caught unaware. So that when you experience them, you will not mistake them for loss, but recognize them as liberation. Because there are 9 signs that mark the chosen as the chains fall away. 9 echoes of freedom that ring out in the spirit. And the first is the sudden hollowing of relationships you once leaned on. People you thought you could never live without may suddenly feel distant. Conversations that once flowed like water now taste like dust. Laughter that once lit your chest now feels strained and shallow, and you will be tempted to panic, to ask, what changed? But nothing changed except the breaking of bonds that cannot cross into your next season. And when the universe cuts a tie you thought was permanent, it is not betrayal, it is mercy. For that tie was no longer aligned with the path ahead. The second sign is the unexplained fading of desires you once chased. Goals that consumed your energy now sit heavy in your hands like dead weight. Cravings that once drove you forward dissolve overnight. And this too is the sound of chains. Because not all chains are people. Some are dreams that expired, ambitions that belong to an older version of you, and when they vanish, you will feel naked. But you are not being stripped bare. You are being freed to chase what was meant for you, not what was borrowed from the expectations of others. The third sign is the arrival of dreams that speak louder than voices in daylight, sudden visions in your sleep that reveal endings and beginnings, dreams where you see doors closing, faces fading, landscapes shifting, and you wake unsettled, but aware. For these are not random firings of the brain. They are the whispers of your higher self, the messages of the breaking. They are the map showing you which chains are already loosening so you can let go consciously. The fourth sign is the irresistible pull to solitude. You will find noise unbearable, crowds suffocating, conversations pointless, and while the world tells you that isolation is loneliness, in truth solitude has become sacred because the chains are breaking in silence, not in noise. And if you resist this pull and drown yourself in distraction, you will miss the clarity waiting for you in the quiet. So if you suddenly feel like canceling plans, like turning everything off, do not resist. That urge is holy. It is alignment. It is the universe drawing you into the chamber where the locks snap unseen. The fifth sign is the sudden flooding of emotions you cannot explain, waves of grief washing through you, followed by waves of relief, anger rising and then dissolving, tears that come without story. And this is not moodiness, it is the emotional cords snapping. For every chain is tied not only to circumstance but to feeling, and when the link is severed, the feeling rushes out like water from a broken dam. So do not judge yourself for these sudden floods. They are proof of liberation, and if you let them flow, they will cleanse you faster than years of struggle ever could. The sixth sign is the reappearance of opportunities you thought were gone. Doors you knocked on long ago but found closed may creak open again. Names you had forgotten may call you. Chances that seemed lost forever may return. And this too is a sign that the chains are breaking, for when false ties fall away, true paths reappear, and what you thought was denied was only delayed until you were free enough to walk through without dragging the weight of bondage. The seventh sign is the distortion of time itself. Days may feel stretched and endless, or they may collapse so quickly you barely notice them pass, and you will feel caught between hours, unsure how much time has gone by. And this strangeness is not random. It is the effect of chains loosening from your timeline, the threads of your old season unraveling and leaving you between what was and what will be. So do not panic when time feels strange. It is only the universe reshaping your path. The eighth sign is the arrival of physical sensations you cannot explain, a heaviness in your chest, sudden deep breaths that feel like sighs of release, strange tingling in your skin, bursts of heat or cold, and these are not illnesses to fear. They are the body recording the snapping of energetic cords. They are the physical echo of the spiritual release, and you are safe inside them. They are confirmations, not warnings. And the ninth sign, the final mark of chains breaking, is a clarity that strikes you suddenly, a decision that feels undeniable, a choice that you can no longer postpone, and you will know it because it will arrive without confusion, one sharp thought that feels final, irreversible, liberating. And when it comes, you must not hesitate, for that is the universe's gift, the final chain snapping, the moment where you are handed the key and told, now walk forward, now step free. These are the signs. These are the ways the post-eclipse energy speaks, and they will not all come at once. But if you have eyes to see, you will notice at least some, and when you do, you must remember they are not loss, not chaos, not punishment, but the sound of chains falling, the unmistakable proof that you are being liberated. And when others around you panic at these feelings, you will remember what I have spoken. You will know the difference. You will not cling to what fades. You will not grieve what disappears. You will recognize freedom even when it looks like emptiness, and in that recognition, you prove you are chosen. Because while the world trembles in fear and ordinary hearts cling to what is slipping away, you will stand differently. You will understand that the silence pressing on you is not emptiness, but fullness waiting to arrive, and the metaphors the universe writes into this moment are too sharp to ignore. For the post-eclipse energy is not merely cosmic weather, it is the half-shut eye of the heavens gazing down and through, not fully open, not fully closed, suspended between judgment and mercy. And this gaze does not look at the surface of your life. It looks beneath, into the hidden places, into the corners where you still kept fragments of chains tucked away. And in this gaze nothing can hide, because when the cosmos half blinks, it is not sleeping, it is inspecting, it is measuring, it is asking the question, are you aligned enough to walk free? Are you clear enough to carry balance? Are you willing to let go of the false weights? And most will not even realize they are being watched. They will scroll, chatter, complain, and miss it. But chosen ones feel it. You feel that pressure like unseen eyes on your soul. You know the inspection is underway, and though it unnerves you, it is not cruelty, it is confirmation. Because the universe does not judge at random, it simply reflects what is. And if your path has drifted, you will feel discomfort. But if your path has been true, you will feel the rising of clarity, the sharpness of knowing, the sudden unveiling that tells you, yes, you are aligned. Yes, the chains are broken. Yes, you are stepping forward. And do not miss this lesson, for the greatest mistake you can make in this hour is to scatter your energy, to chase 10 desires at once, to beg for change without precision, because the post-eclipse current is acceleration itself, manifestation, compressed, intention magnified, and it does not sort your requests neatly into good and bad. It amplifies what you are radiating in this exact moment. So if your heart is divided, you will reap chaos at speed. But if your intention is sharp, if your clarity is unshakable, then the acceleration will strike like lightning, bending reality in your favor faster than you thought possible. This is why the chains must break, because you cannot accelerate while dragging dead weight. You cannot manifest lightning while holding indecision, and so the universe clears you first, then offers the key, then multiplies the clarity you hold. So chosen ones must not treat this like a spectacle, not like something to watch in the sky, for the real portal is not above your head, but inside your chest. The real eclipse is the shadow that passes through your spirit, and if you only look outward, you will miss the inner doorway, the chamber where clarity is written. Imagine it now, not as a sun blocked by the moon, but as a magnifying glass dropped into your life. Everything under it enlarged, every blur exposed, every sharp edge shining, and if your intent is fuzzy, the blur is doubled. But if your intent is clear, the cut is clean. So ask yourself, what do I want sharpened? What do I want multiplied? What do I want sealed into my future? Because the equinox comes to lock it in place. And that is why today you must choose with precision, for indecision is the only true enemy. This is the spiritual law hidden in the sequence. First, the eclipse strips, then the equinox weighs. First, the shadow reveals, then balance restores, and this order is no accident. It is the sacred choreography of heaven, for if the equinox came first, you would step into counterfeit harmony, balance painted over unresolved shadows, peace built on denial, stability, hiding chains still intact. But the universe does not allow illusions to masquerade as truth. It demands cleansing before balance. It demands shadow before symmetry. And that is why the eclipse always precedes the equinox when the stakes are high, because no one enters the temple of balance without walking first through the threshold of unveiling. You cannot fast forward this process. You cannot skip the shadow toll. You cannot buy your way past the inspection, for balance is not a gift tossed at you. It is a crown placed only after the chains fall, and this is the mercy of the universe, not its cruelty. For counterfeit balance is the most dangerous cage, the one that convinces you to stop moving, to accept stagnation as peace, to settle into false comfort while your soul remains bound. But true balance arrives only after the locks are cut, only after the bars are bent open, only after you are ready to stand in the fullness of freedom. So when you feel the strange heaviness of this time, when you sense the discomfort, the confusion, the unease, do not mistake it for failure. It is the toll, it is the test, it is the initiation into balance earned rather than balance borrowed, and this is what separates the chosen from the ordinary. Because the ordinary will resist. They will cling, they will panic, they will chase distractions, and in doing so, they will chain themselves tighter. But you must stand still. You must allow. You must understand that silence is sacred and surrender is power. For in the stillness, the chains fall faster. In the surrender, the locks snap without struggle. And then the equinox does not just weigh you, it crowns you. It stabilizes you. It restores you. Think of it like a scale waiting to measure your soul. But if you bring unresolved shadow into it, the measure is false, the reading is skewed. But when the eclipse clears the hidden stones from your pockets, when the chains fall from your wrists, then, when the scale tips, it is true, it is fair. It is balance, not distorted, and that is why the sequence is precise. First exposure, then reckoning, then reset, and you cannot skip the order. You cannot demand balance without revealing shadow. For shadow acknowledged is the only soil where true symmetry grows. And so chosen ones must walk with faith in this hour, trusting the discomfort, trusting the silence, trusting the strange unraveling, for it is the hand of the universe clearing the ground so that what rises after the equinox can stand unshaken. And while others curse the darkness, you will call it holy. While others resist the pull to solitude, you will honor it as sacred, and in that difference the cosmos recognizes you. The eye sees you, the balance seals you, and once it does, there is no going back to the way things were, because the silent reset is already underway, and you may not notice it as fireworks in the sky or sudden explosions in your life, but you will sense it in the quiet unraveling, the subtle fading of what you thought you needed, the gentle but undeniable cutting of cords you never knew were still attached. And this is why so many of you wake with a strange emptiness. Why conversations you used to enjoy feel dull. Why passions you once chased no longer ignite you. For the eclipse has not just passed across the sun, it has passed through your very timeline and edited what cannot exist in the new season. And this editing is not violent. It is surgical. It moves like a shadow at midnight, silent, precise, deliberate, removing what no longer belongs without asking your permission. And though you may at first feel it as loss, it is not theft. It is alignment, for nothing essential is ever taken, only illusions, only weights, only chains. This is why you may sense that a friendship suddenly feels hollow, that a habit you once loved suddenly leaves you cold, that a desire you thought was your destiny now feels foreign, as though it belongs to someone else, because the eclipse energy has peeled back the layers and revealed that these things were borrowed energy, temporary scaffolding, stepping stones never meant to be permanent. And so when they dissolve, do not mourn, do not cling, do not mistake their fading for failure, because it is the universe whispering to you, this is no longer you. You have outgrown. This room, you no longer fit inside these walls. And though the comfort it once gave you now feels like absence, that absence is holy space. It is preparation. It is the clearing of ground so that what truly belongs to you can be planted. Think of it like waking up in a childhood bedroom that once felt like the world, but now feels small. The posters faded, the clothes too tight, the air too stifling, and you realize with a pang that you cannot stay, yet stepping out into the unknown feels terrifying, and still you must go, because the eclipse has already turned the lock, already opened the door, already called you forward, and if you try to cling to what is behind you will feel only discomfort. But if you step forward, you will discover the room prepared for who you are becoming. Chosen ones, this is not punishment, this is promotion, for separation is not loss, it is alignment in disguise. You are not being abandoned, you are being positioned, and what fades now has served its purpose. It has carried you as far as it could, but it cannot cross this threshold with you, and so you must bless it and release it, for new bonds are waiting, new callings are opening, new paths are stretching before you. Remember, the universe is not cruel, it is efficient, and what looks like endings are only recalibrations. What feels like emptiness is only the soil turned over for a greater harvest, and months from now when you look back, you will understand that this was the night the chains fell, this was the day the reset began, this was the hinge that shifted your story forever. The old life does not release you gently, it clings, it resists, it whispers for you to return, but the eclipse does not ask your permission, it frees you anyway, it insists on your liberation, because you were never meant to remain bound, you were always meant to rise. And now that rise has begun, not in trumpets and shouts, but in the subtle silence of chains falling where no one can see them, in the sacred emptiness that feels so heavy, but is really so holy. So do not be afraid of the blank spaces. Do not fear the sudden absence of desires, of people, of paths, because these are the signs of a jailbreak, the proof that the universe is serious about your freedom, and when the equinox energy completes its work, you will feel balance in your bones, symmetry etched into your spirit, and you will step into the next season lighter, clearer, freer than you have ever been. And what comes after will not be counterfeit peace, not the shallow harmony that hides unspoken shadows, but true balance, earned balance, the kind that cannot be shaken because it was sealed in truth. And from that foundation you will rise higher, walk bolder, speak clearer, live freer. Chosen ones, I leave you with this. The post-eclipse energy on September 25th is not something to fear, it is something to honor. It is the sound of locks snapping, the echo of freedom moving through your veins. And though it feels heavy, though it feels strange, though it feels unsettling, it is proof you are being prepared, refined, positioned. And when the chains fall fully, you will not be who you were yesterday. You will be who you were always meant to be. Unbound, unveiled, unafraid, crowned with scars turned into strength, carrying balance that is not decoration, but power. So walk through this day with eyes open, with heart surrendered, with spirit listening, and know that every silence is full of answers, every emptiness is full of preparation, every loss is full of alignment, and the universe itself is leaning in, watching, sealing, crowning, deciding, and its gaze is not against you, but for you, not to punish but to confirm, not to condemn but to free, because you are chosen, and chosen ones are never abandoned in the breaking. They are always delivered through it. So stand firm, let the chains fall, let the silence speak, let the equinox crown you, for your freedom is already written, and this breaking is only the sound of destiny opening its door.